Hi, Kat Chancellor here with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to create this 3D shadow box card using the Let's Go Shopping bundle as well as the Trucking Along bundle. And you can see what we've created here is a little city scene that has, it's kind of 3D, and I'm going to show you how we're going to create that effect. And then you flip it around and we have kind of a stand right here with your sentiment, and this can be as large or as small as you want. I'm using the beautiful DSP that comes with this set, and then you can just stand this up and it's just lovely. One of the neat things about this set is its versatility. I've used some of the DSP, and I'm just going to kind of show you that, which comes with this with the suite, and this is just gorgeous paper. I'd really recommend, if you get this bundle, buy the DSP, because once the paper is retired, you're going to miss it. It's got some lovely patterns on it, especially these street scene patterns and this cobblestone pattern. And then, as I've shown, it has this really pretty kind of storefront, kind of a washed blue. It looks kind of like a blueprint, but you're definitely going to need this cobblestone pattern for the project. You can, and this is what I did with this project, is that I stamped the storefronts, and then you can choose the type of scene you want inside of each storefront. So it features a kind of a bookstore, an eatery, and then a bakery. I then kind of used the little truck that I punched out, and I kind of had driving by. It comes with some dies to cut out this little lamppost, and then also some dies to cut out the little greenery, the vines that grow along. I used another bundle. This is a retired bundle, and I'll feature it on my blog, just to cut out these clouds. But I use that wonderful iridescent paper that I've used in my other projects as well. So this is basically a ink and then color with your stamping blends. And the colors that I'm going to feature are primarily the gray, this is balmy blue, light and dark, and also the Calypso coral. I did use some of the more muted, kind of the more neutral tones for kind of my bookcase, some pink, some Calypso coral for my little settee, some Daffodil Delight for my lighting in here, and then again some muted tones. Now, one of the things I want you to notice is that look how the windows kind of shine, just like they had glazing or glass. Well, what I did is I basically used some clear embossing powder, and I'll demonstrate all this in the tutorial to kind of like give it kind of that effect that we've got glazing on the front of our windows. There's also some dies that create this neat little canopy that goes over any of these windows. That can it kind of creates just a really nice little city scene. And then there's a little placard here for specials that you can see on any kind of streetscape that has these little cafes, bakeries, books. So that's what the project is going to, our tutorial today is going to focus on. But I have to tell you, this is why you need to get this, because in the mini catalog, and I'm going to show you right here, because this has gone out. If you're my customer, you've already gotten a copy of this in your box. If you need a catalog, please contact me and I can make that happen, but you will have to pay shipping. Here is this set here called Shop the Town. Now these are just the stamps, but the stamps coordinate with the set as well. For example, this little window panes, and these are actually little lights that are going over it, can be fit right in here into one of these windows as well. Besides the stamps for, and let me just put these aside, beside the stamps for this, you also get, I mean, look at the additional stamps. You get another storefront. You get a little happy holidays to kind of put into a little placard right there, and you get a Christmas tree to kind of put into your if you were doing a diorama, 3D diorama. You have a Christmas tree, you've got carolers, you have wreaths that you could also put into some of your other buildings, and some packages, and as well as a garland here of Christmas lights. Now I love this. This is a nice arch, and I don't know how I'm going to use that, but I want you to stay tuned to my channel. Please subscribe, because I'm going to come back with a Christmas version of our little diorama. So I really encourage you, get the new catalog, and contact me if you need something, but please subscribe and stay tuned to my channel. Let's go ahead and get started. So I'm using the same shape, large shadow box frame card. This one went this direction, and this one is going to go landscape like that. So you can refer to my other video if you want more details, because we're going to go ahead and I'm going to roll through how you put it together. Now, the products you're going to need for putting this together. You're going to need the trucking along, and this is available on my online store, and the punch. I'm using balmy blue ink to ink it out, and you'll even notice that the little truck has his window, and I think his tires are also done with clear embossing powder, and the back, you see where the back of the little pole is actually on the back of the truck, and the truck stuck on the back of or the truck stuck on the front of this building. Now the way I pop these buildings up, and I don't think you can kind of see that those little squares, they're actually the same size as these, okay, and I just made a couple extra, and you can go ahead and you can make them, and then you can put them together, and then if you want, you can go ahead and cut them, and then you have kind of a spacer, so you can bring your image forward. So that's what I recommend as kind of the little mechanism for creating depth with your building, so that there's a foreground and a background depth for your card. So you're going to need that. You're going to need some, I'm using some basic white, and then for the back, this back piece, I use the thick basic white cardstock. You can see this pretty background, the blue. That is actually from the DSP, the Fresh as a Daisy DSP. It has these lovely pieces of blue. I just went ahead and used that. You will also need some Granny Apple Green and some Mossy Meadow, and you're going to need that for die cutting the foliage that's going to go on your building. So I think that's about it. So let's go ahead and get started. This project consists of 4 parts. You're going to cut and color your storefronts. You're going to cut and assemble your frame with your background pieces. You're going to assemble your town within your frame, and then you're going to create your back stand. Beginning with the town fronts, you can choose whatever storefront you want by using the stamps for either an eatery, a bookstore, or a bakery. And then you're going to color, and I recommend using stamping blends. And the colors that you're going to see me use here are going to be Smoky Slate, Balmy Blue, and Calypso Coral. I use either the light or the dark depending on what kind of effect I want to create. I use the dark if I'm trying to create any shadow. I'm using Daffodil Delight for any of the lighting fixtures for my eatery, and I'm using some of the neutral colors that are in the catalog, the light and medium neutral stamping blends for my books and for my pastries in my bakery. And then lastly, I'm using Pool Party to kind of color in the window that I'm then going to use some clear embossing powder to create that nice glazed effect. So go ahead and watch it come together and enjoy. So this is your base, which is cut by 6 by 8. I'm using the thick cardstock, and then you're going to go ahead and cut your frame. Again, I'm going to tell you to refer to my other video, which goes into this in much more detail, but you're going to need 2 pieces 3.5 by 8 and 2 pieces 3.5 by 6. Those are going to be the sides, and you're going to have the top. And then you're going to score those using your scoreboard at a 1/2 inch, 1.5 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inches, and that is basically going to create your tube. Now you're going to use these same dimensions for creating those mechanisms that I showed you at the beginning of the video, for using to kind of pop up and create depth when you're adding your storefronts to the inside of your 3D frame. So now that our frame is secure, we're going to go ahead and add our background DSPs, and that's going to consist of that pretty sky piece from the Daisy suite, and then the cobblestone piece from this particular suite that's in the annual catalog. And the sky is going to be about 3 inches by 6 5/8. Then the cobblestone piece is 2 inches by 6 5/8, and that offers a really nice horizon to begin to lay out the rest of our storefronts. And there's my mechanisms for kind of popping up the storefronts. I'm just going to kind of lay out all the pieces and parts that I want to include in this particular scene, including the clouds, my storefronts, the second floors that I'm going to have to adhere, my lampposts, the foliage, the little placard, and then my little truck. Now, because the first and second stories are separate, which is kind of nice because you have the option to either add a second story or not. Here I'm adding them with a dimensional strip, and I just got some left over from either a paper pumpkin set or from one of the other kits. I'm using my fingers to kind of form that awning, and I'm going to attach that with a dimensional just so that it has a little bit more, looks a little more realistic as an awning. And then I'm going to add my foliage to my buildings so I can go ahead and balance that. Now, as you watch this, watch that I go ahead and start building my diorama from the back forward. I'm going to start with placing my bakery, which is my single floor piece that's going to sit nicely in my background along my horizon line, and then I'm going to build forward with my 2 buildings, and I'm going to be using my mechanisms, and then I'm going to add the lampposts to my truck, and then my truck is going to go adhere to the corner of one of my storefronts with a 2 dimensionals, actually, because I'm just trying to build build that depth from the back going forward. So go ahead and watch and enjoy. Okay, so here is our final project, and I want to review all the pieces and parts, but before I do that, there's a couple things I want to point out. I finally figured out a better stand for the back, and you can see that takes up a lot of material. So this one goes like this, and you just kind of glue that to the back, so it's a lot less material. And then you could decorate the back, and then you could put a big sentiment right there. Now the dimensions for this, and will be on my blog, but this is a 9.5 by 8. You score on the 9.5 side, and you're going to score 3, 6, 3, 6, 7.5, and 9 inches, and that gives you that little lip there. So I wanted to provide you those instructions because I kind of skimmed over them on the tutorial. The other part I wanted to bring to your attention was I said I had a for the clouds. Well, it's this stamp set. This bundle is retired, but you know I keep these things, especially when they have a lot of neat silhouettes. And here are the clouds right here that I used. So just so that you know, in case you have that in your stash, that's what I used to cut out my clouds. Okay, so let's go ahead and review our wonderful 3D card here that we created using both the Let's Go Shopping and the Trucking Along to create our little truck. And we've made our little shop fronts, built them back using our mechanism. I didn't show that in the tutorial, but as I explained, it's the same as these frame sides. Just go ahead and cut one and then go ahead and trim to your desired thickness. I use the daisy paper. I use the DSP from the Les Shops, and then I will list all the stamping blends, mostly Balmy Blue, Smoky Slate, Calypso Coral, and I've used some of the Mossy Meadow and some of the Granny Apple Green. These little chairs are in Granny Apple Green. The lights are in Daffodil Delight. My truck is stamped with Balmy Blue. And then I just had this really interesting kind of speckled on one of my trucks because I stamped several of them, because then I cut out the fender and I thought that was kind of cool, so I added that. And then of course you want to have adding the clear embossing powder that gives you that really nice glaze. Be careful, don't use a lot, because the Versamark ink has a tend to kind of make it kind of run a little bit. So if you stamp with StazOn, but I don't like to use StazOn. I was just kind of light with my Versamark, and I used one of the Versamark pen. I find I've had this for years since I bought it at a craft fair, and what I do is I will open this up and I will take my Versamark, I'll pull this all apart, and then I will just fill this with my Versamark ink here, or I will put it on my pad and I'll just put a glob on my Versamark pad, and then I'll scoop it up with my brush side. So this is just a really good tool. You could probably find that at on Amazon or any large box store. Okay, so I just wanted to also kind of point out, I just used some neutral colors to kind of do my pastries and the like, and I just love these cards. I want to thank you so much for joining me for these projects, and if you don't have a catalog, I want you to go out and send me an email. You will have to pay shipping, but I want you to get a mini catalog. Here it is, mini catalog, so that you can also get this Shop the Town stamp set, which just also adds just more versatility to this stamp set, because it gives you another storefront, as well as all these neat kind of Christmas things that also coordinate with some of the Christmas things that you're going to find on your Trucking Along. So there's some really neat ways to use all that. Now, if you haven't already, please hit like. All my products will be available on my online store. My blog will have all the information that you need to create this project. If you are looking for a demonstrator, please consider joining my team, or consider joining as a hobbyist for $99 to enjoy a 20% discount. If you are a demo and like my content, please support my channel. Please support my content by hitting like, share, leave a comment, and if you have any recommendations or feedback, I'm always open to any of your comments, and I do appreciate those that do give me a comment. So thank you so much for joining me. This is Kat Chancellor from Stamp Art Connection and stampartconnection.com. Happy stamping.